This is a DM's guide for the Sablewood Messengers, a Daggerheart DM guide, aimed at revisiting after you've read the adventure through. It's just easier to watch a video, isn't it? Marlowe Fairwind, King Emeris's right-hand sorcerer, has gathered this party to transport this package to the Hush, which is a small village within Sablewood. The crate which they are transporting is large and heavy, plus magically sealed so no peeking. It has an address label which reads Whitefire Arcanist. A map and a carriage is supplied, and that's the basis of the quest. Now your players can choose from these pre-made characters, or use their own creations of course. I do like the look of these sheets, pretty nice. Sablewood is a massive forest, known for its weird hybrid animals such as cat squirrels. The village of Hush has no inns, so to speak, of where you would stay, but really friendly common folk who will allow you to stay at their houses. Now this village of Hush is protected by magical wards, keeping danger out to a degree. And this is where the Whitefire Arcanist is working. She is their primary religious leader in a community that still worships the nameless and forgotten gods. As your party drives this carriage through the trees, allow them to chip in with things that they see out of the window. How does the forest look? What animals do they see? Allow them to create the world just as much as the game runner. This keeps them involved and attentive. Now as the cart takes a tight corner, you have to describe an overturned cart with fruit and vegetables strewn all over the path. A Strix wolf, which has a wolf's body but an owl's head, and two large wings, claws on a dismembered arm of a now dead merchant. As they look at this scene, describe two little cubs also coming into view. Now this is where you allow the players space to talk to each other. How are they going to tackle this scene? A presence roll of 10 is a good idea here. A success understands that the mother is purely protecting her cubs. A success with fear will have the Strix mother howl to get another Strix wolf that is nearby. Now a failure results in a fierce show of defensive snarls. But ultimately the scene ends with the pups crawling onto their mother. Of course a critical success means they can probably go up and pet the thing, and then it goes to find other food sources. But this may result in a fight, and obviously a fight is much more cinematic. And the Strix Wolf's bite is 1d6 plus 3. This is not a how to play video, everyone else is doing those, this is just the guide. Now the fallen merchant cart doesn't have anything worth looting, which highlights the fact that somebody else has already looted it. There are two things to spot. One, thorny brambles are tangled all around one wheel, which must have caused it to overturn. Two, the one-armed driver lies dead with chunks out of it from the mum and pups, but closer inspection shows the driver had their throat slit. Call for an instinct roll of 14 to realise that they are being watched. This is basically an ambush site, and 4 thistle folk have made a trap. Now you can set the scene using theatre of the mind or your own miniatures or the cutouts that come with this quick adventure. But remember to set up your action tracker. Hopefully you know who goes first, whether the players go or the enemies, and whether this is a surprise ambush or the players spot what's going on. The thistle folk will attack with a +1 for 2d8 plus 1 physical damage if it beats the player's evasion number. That is 3 thistle folk do that. The other one, the fourth one, is actually a thistle folk thief. He has +3 and does 3d6 physical damage, a bit more of a meaty boy. But he also has a special attack which uses a fear token the DM gets, which means attacking all players within melee range, doing 3d8 magical damage and pushing them to far range. The thief is trying to commandeer their cart with the delivery on it. So allow the scene to wrap up, and this may mean that they're now walking or running to claim this cart, or they've killed everybody, or there's some sort of split group action scene where some of the players are on top of the cart in a high-speed chase trying to destroy the driver. Now further down the journey through the story, they reach a stone marker covered in runes. This means they've entered the area of Hush. Its ancient symbols is one of 4 ward markers which protect the village with a magical bubble. It basically dampens the sound from within to anyone outside of it, so as soon as they enter this bubble, the village springs to life. The sounds hitting them of music from a tavern, of laughter and children, the smells of food or cow dung, and a central tavern in the centre of town. Now, there's a choice of 3 different NPCs to use here. One is the first point of contact, who smiles and waves and greets the players, and then choose the second point of contact as someone to be pointed to. Oh, you want to know where the arcanist is? Well, go see them, they know. Or use them as you desire. NPC number 1 is called Fidget. He is a small human child, and he wants to hear stories from outside of Hush. He's never been outside the bubble. 2 is Lorsa, a dwarf lady with a beard, carrying a barrel on her shoulder. She wants to know all about the PCs and their weapons and what they're carrying, what they're doing. She's inquisitive, nosy. 3, Halithon, is a robot with a fox-bat hybrid on his shoulder. They'll find him playing a card and acorn game, I suppose like solitaire. He is curious to know if any thistle folk were encountered outside the bubble. He finds them most peculiar. Now, as I say, there's a tree in the middle of the square. It has 6 stories climbing up its trunk, forming a multi-levelled tavern called the Clover Tavern. Now, you can have a sign at the bottom saying how new travellers to this inn have to take off their shoes, hang them over this washing line, whereby they will be cleaned and filled with trinkets. There's probably other people's shoes already hanging, being cleaned. Some characters might not wear shoes, fine. Do they have a hat? Do they have gloves? Do they just miss out on this? This information can of course come from the bartender or a stranger around the inn.
Whoa, before you enter, take off your shoes. We've not seen your faces here before.
And points over so that they know why they're taking off their shoes. This is a friendly place. Now, at the ground level, the place is heaving around a bar, and music plays on, and the bartender, who I rolled the name for, is called Patch Ord, and he can also interact with these new players. You can now involve the players again by asking them to each detail one of these levels. What does it look like? They're all different to each other, so let them use their imagination and set the scene. This is a community game, so they can't say, oh, on the top floor there's someone giving away level 10 magic items. Nice. And then you, the DM, can pepper out that a lot of them are themed around a festival called the First Moss Festival, which marks the arrival of spring as the crops and vegetation get that first layer of moss on them, which is a good sign. Now, there are things you can dot in on these levels, such as friendly arm wrestle competition, which wins a free drink or a free meal perhaps. There's a stone painting class next to a table of trinkets for the winner. I would add a hatchet throwing competition at a target, or even an archery contest. Naturally, a drinking contest comes to mind, or a pie eating contest. You get the idea. But ultimately, the package needs delivering, so they need to find out where the Whitefire Arcanist is. NPCs they talk to will expound on the fact that the Arcanist is very important to the village, keeps it protected, and the villagers make donations of items to her to use in magical fandangery. Her house, oh yeah, she's always busy, but she'll want this package. Follow to the south of the village, go through some farmland, you'll find her house swinging from a tree, being counterweighted by a boulder. Can't really miss it. So they take their cart through the villages, the houses get less and less, farmland spreads out as suggested. In the distance, as it gets closer, indeed, there's a house counterweighted from a tree. All these trees surrounding the Arcanist's house seem to have been carved with faces peering in all different directions like some sort of magical CCTV, unless it's all a ruse. Lights flash in the windows, suggesting that magic is happening inside. Now, with the house being suspended so high up, they're going to need to get its attention. They might simply shout, but that doesn't work. They might think, okay, we'll cut the rope or lift the boulder so that the house comes down. That will immediately fire magic out, dealing stress points. Climbing the tree seems the most obvious. You need an agility of 13. And a fail has a branch come down, pick them up, and slowly and gently place them on the forest floor. At your leisure, if they do something you like or you just need this to happen, a 7-foot fairy comes out of the house. She almost glitches and then it goes really fast. but her voice is old and wise. Are you the group Emeris sent from the capital? Oh my, you're rather late, aren't you? Come in, come in. She magically lifts the boulder and the house comes down. Now inside is bigger than expected, full of sights from piles of spellbooks, brewing potions, animals caged, animals free and flying about. It's a busy but organised mess. Now the fairy will be curious at how they found her. She also, in conversation, drops in a very odd question. Tell me, have any of you ever pondered on how you will die? Whoa, maybe this is on the fairy's mind as she's getting old and contemplating life. Maybe this is just to mess with the players, because fairy folk can be very tricksy. Attention will turn to the delivery. I rolled randomly for her name. I came up with Tulu. Tulu magically unfurls the house so that it gets bigger, allowing the cart to be reversed in almost. Once the package is off, or the cart remains in, it folds down to bigger than it was, but still contains a nice built-up house. Opening the delivery, they find a massive keystone. This is the keystone, recognisable from the capital city's gateway, depicting a lion's face carved into it. The players should recognise this as Marlowe, a key figure in the capital city's history. Oh dear, if anyone knew the capital's protective wards were down, they would be under attack in no time. This is an urgent and grave situation. I must travel to the open vale to reinstate the wards. But using such strong magic, that will surely attract dangerous attention from the darkest creatures in Sablewood. I'll need your help. Are you in? Now you might find your players asking the classic question, what's in it for us? I would ask for a roll of 10, and if Hope wins, she could offer them some sort of reward. Maybe a buff for a certain amount of rounds. If it's with fear, she'll say, I'll be sure to tell the king of your unwillingness to help the crown. You can explain that this means they will go to prison, and you can relinquish your character and go home. They have to play ball, we're played together. Let's just say they accept. All aboard the carriage, which could magically be steered by the arcanist, as that therefore travel conversation can happen easier. Now have the PCs improvise on the spot a bit of backstory, and the fairy can expand upon her making home in this village, having a deal where I'll protect the village if you give me supplies that I can use in magical stuff. Now she'll explain that she forged the protecting pillars of Hush in a place called the Open Vale, where magic is stronger, and she almost died doing it. She sort of whispers a little bit, thinking the gods might hear her. She's explaining that the magic might be stronger because the gods are closer there. Eventually, Tolu's fairy antenna pricks up. This is good, yes, here. Now, I'm old and I need your help. This time, the cart unfolds, leaving just the package on the floor. And it sits proudly, humming a bit, almost recognising there's thick magic in the air. It senses that it can be charged. I will need an hour to prepare. Enjoy the night air while you can. We'll be busy soon. So this is a short rest where the PCs can tend to wounds to regain 1d4 hit points, clear 1d4 stress, repair their armour for 1d4, or make preparations for surrounding attacks, which if they do, that person will get 1 hope point. If more than one player prepares for an invasion, then award those PCs 2 hope points each, and mock the players who didn't do anything. Now, skeletons are going to be drawn to this scene. They have no attack modifier, so you'll roll individual d20s flat against the player's evasion. But what's cool is the skeleton's group attack feature. They can instead attack in a group of 2, 3 or 4, and that requires a single d20 roll, and on a success, instead of doing the single 2d6 plus 2 sword damage, it's a fixed 4 damage from each skeleton if they successfully attack. So I'd have the group of skeletons come from one side straight away, attacking the nearest player en route to Tulu, before separating to swing their swords at anyone in their way. But they are trying to get at Tulu to stop this ritual. If damage to a skeleton exceeds 6, the skeleton just drops, dead. If the damage is 6 or less, it's simply 1 hit point gone. Describe the keystone glowing as a connection to the magical energy starts to charge it. It opens some sort of gateway to power. Quickly, protect me, the ritual is beginning. So yeah, 4 skeletons can emerge around the group or have them from one clump, as I suggest. Meanwhile, far range, there are 2 forest wraiths coming. Place a D8 marking 8 on a countdown timer. When a monster is killed, the counter goes down by 1. Each time Tulu takes damage, it goes up by 1. I really like that, and I'll probably steal that for my D&D games doing rituals. The added complication comes from the DM being able to add 2 more skeletons at a go, using action tokens. These skeletons will speed up the players being able to kill them, which reduces the ritual time down to 0 where the ritual ends. Adding more skeletons in a way makes it quicker for the players to finish the ritual. These new skeletons don't attack the players. I'd have them just try and get to Tulu. Tolu's difficulty is 11, and she doesn't mark hit points or stress, so that's less to struggle with. It simply alters the countdown die. Now, while the skeletons are pure attack fodder, the forest wraiths can be more of a threat. They can life drain from far distance, with a +3 doing 1d10 +4 magic damage. Damn! And they have 6 health points each. Also, they only take half damage from physical attacks, and their memory delve action gives them advantage as they swoop in and touch the PC's cheek, bringing forward a past unpleasant memory. That deals 1d20 +2 magical damage, and leaves them vulnerable till their next turn. So if a successful memory drain is done, ask the player to explain a made-up memory that's unpleasant from their past. There's also more of a nuke power move from these things. A wraith can move through a PC, knocking the PC's spirit out of its body until the countdown timer goes down 1 more point. Now, it's not fun to lose control of your character, so I'd suggest having the players be in charge of the wraith in their own body wanting to attack Tulu. Don't forget, more skeletons springing up mean more opportunities for the countdown timer to go down, which means the spirit player gets back into their own body quicker. This is something you've got to feel out for the fun of the scene, really. Don't forget you can bend the rules and cheat. If a player gets knocked out of their body, I would at least have them play 1 round out trying to attack Tulu before their spirit goes back. If a PC is down, they make a death move, but simply fall unconscious rather than being dead, until healed or the battle is over. If Tulu finishes the ritual, a soundless explosion shoots out of her, wiping out all remaining enemies on the battlefield. Huzzah! The clearing sits quiet for a while before ambient animals start to chirp again. Tulu is exhausted. She looks like she's aged even more. So they all travel back to Tulu's and suspend the lion's headstone over a fire. You fought hard. I'm not surprised. The king keeps good company. I'm very glad you were there. She rewards them if that was the agreement. Otherwise, she'll simply make food and offer them a warm bath. Now allow conversation to take place until you need to fill. The keystone will take a week or more for the magic to settle. I'll observe it for cracks or anything like that. Then you can describe the camera slowly going up into the clouds, taking in the whole village of Hush with its 4 ward pillars breaking through the tree canopy with flickering magic atop each of them. Then Tulu continues. There's a spire west of here, maybe a few hours' walk. I felt it on the way to the ritual. Its power was strange. The light felt weaker than it should be. I think something might be terribly wrong with the spire keeper, and I fear what will happen if its fire is extinguished altogether. I'll give you a map so you can make it there safely. It's good to have heroes in Sablewood again. I hope this helps speed up your prep. Please subscribe.